Good afternoon. Welcome to Business 360, your complete view of the stories driving business, markets, and the economy. I'm Apa Ongpin, and this is the Bilyonaryo News Channel. The Senate sets the date. The impeachment court may convene on Monday, May 18, or at the soonest possible time. We get the latest from the Senate, House, Palace, and NBI. The red grid alert is now in effect over Luzon and the Visayas. The Lopez majority withdraws its resolution to remove Federico Piki Lopez as president and CEO. So far, so good. U.S. President Donald Trump and Chinese leader Xi Jinping meet, with early signals pointing to warmer ties. And when economies are uncertain, people turn to gold. Are we seeing the surge for the safe haven asset here in the Philippines? We bring in Cebuana Lhuillier Strategy, Partnerships, and Retail Business Group Head Robby Afzelius. The Senate is set to convene as an impeachment court to hear the case against Vice President Sara Duterte. Hannah T is on the line to tell us more. Hannah, what's going to happen next?
Yes, Apa, despite yesterday's shooting, the Senate is expected to officially convene as an impeachment court on May 18 at 3 p.m. The Senate has already received the articles of impeachment against Duterte, which will first be included in the order of business and referred to the impeachment court process. He explained that the first step would be for the Senate to organize itself, including committee assignments, before formally taking up the impeachment matter. Cayetano said the majority bloc does not see any need to change the existing impeachment rules used in previous trials. If no issues or motions delay the process, Cayetano said the Senate could immediately convene as an impeachment court where he would first take his oath as presiding officer, followed by the other 23 senators taking their oaths as senator judges. After this, Apa, the Senate would issue a summons to the vice president before moving to the trial proper. This is after speculation that leadership change inside the Senate was a coup attempt designed to stop the impeachment process, but Cayetano pushed back, saying his focus was to unite the chamber and follow the Constitution. He also said none of the 13 members of the majority bloc had opposed holding the trial. Last Monday, Apa, the House impeached VP Sara for a second time with 257 votes. The allegations include culpable violation of the Constitution, graft and corruption, and betrayal of public trust. Back to you.
Thank you, Hannah T, reporting from the Senate. Vice President Sara Duterte called on the administration to focus on economic issues rather than political controversies. She reiterated claims that the government is using state resources against political opponents.
So what we are seeing now is the administration using all government resources to demolish political opposition or those individuals who do not follow or agree or support BBM.
Her statements followed the recent Senate shooting incident last night, which remains under investigation. President Marcos earlier said state security forces were not involved in the incident. The NBI also said there was no directive to arrest Senator Bato de la Rosa. Senator Amy Marcos is calling on her brother, the president, to temporarily relieve top NBI officials after the Senate shooting incident. In a letter, she urged her brother to temporarily relieve NBI Director Melvin Matibag, NBI National Capital Region Chief Emeterio Dongallo Jr., and Organized and Transnational Crime Division Chief Jerome Bomediano. She also described last night's chaos as a Senate siege.
Sabi ko, putukan na yan. Sabi ni Senator Joy, takbo-kaway ako ha. Fireworks lang yan. Anong fireworks? Kalakas-lakas sa panlapit. Papalapit ng papalapit. Doon sa amin, sa office ni SP, nagbibiruan pa kami, hindi kami maniwala hanggang pumasok yung mga employees na tataranta, tinaharang na yung mga pinto at nakakalapit na yung mga NDI o kung sino man ang nagpaputok. So, talagang Senate siege ang dating.
The NBI says the reported shootout at the Senate may have been staged. We have Ivy Reyes reporting live from Malacanang. Ivy, do you know what really happened inside the Senate?
Yes, Apa, no one in the government knows where Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa is, not even Malacanang, after his reported exit from Senate grounds at dawn. And should the senator show up and get served his warrant, his fellow Philippine Military Academy graduate PNP Chief Jose Nartates Jr. said they will enforce the law without fear or favor. Nartates said the office of the Sergeant-at-Arms is now being probed by the Pasay Police Station. Apa, what is clear at this point is, number one, there was no intended arrest last night from the side of the NBI. It was GSIS who requested for the National Bureau of Investigation's presence and security. And by the way, GSIS sits beside the Senate. Under the President's directive, according to NBI Director Melvin Matibag, NBI was told to respect the Senate's protective custody and refrain from arresting De La Rosa. NBI received the request at 5:08 p.m. yesterday, and they came at 6 p.m. at the GSIS headquarters. Just a quick recap. Apa, the commotion started at exactly 7:45 in the evening when military and police troops lined up armed and went to the end of the second floor. NBI clarified it was the OSAA or the officers of the Sergeant-at-Arms who made the first shot. NBI then responded with a warning shot, and the shooting went on from this point. The PNP can tell if there really was an exchange of gunfire or was the shootout one-sided. And Nartates also said the initial appreciation is that the bullets came from inside the premises. Authorities already have an official report of the senators who were with De La Rosa, but they've requested to have the document in suspension, and their request for CCTV copies is to determine how De La Rosa got inside the Senate halls on May 11, Monday, and how the standoff happened last night. Apa, the general sentiment of the NBI was that the shootout was staged. Meanwhile, Malacanang reminded the public that the administration's Bagong Pilipinas and Bagong Pilipino flagship banner comes or moves for the truth and not for any cover-up. And just to add, the NBI is also probing whether there was communication between GSIS and the Senate because GSIS is where the NBI agents stood last night. Apa.
Thank you, Ivy Reyes, reporting live from Malacanang. The camp of Senator Bato de la Rosa defending his actions if he indeed has left the Senate. Let's see what they say.
Humbly suggest to the Senate that after this entire brouhaha is over, that there be an honest-to-goodness legislative probe on Mr. Matibag, on the NBI, and other personalities, including possibly former Senate President Tito Soto, as to his role in this fiasco.
In other news, Luzon and the Visayas are now under red grid alert. That means power supply has fallen to a critical level and rotating brownouts may hit several areas. Che Sulit is on the line for the latest. Che, go ahead.
Yes, power interruptions are expected across Luzon and Visayas amid insufficient power supply and thin operating reserves. The National Grid Corporation of the Philippines reports that the Luzon grid is set to face a red alert from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. Meanwhile, the Visayas grid will also be placed under a red alert in the same period. The NGCP adds that several power plants are currently on forced outage, with some offline since 2019, resulting in reduced capacity. These follow the grid alert status on Wednesday, which resulted in rotating brownouts across several regions, causing inconvenience for many Filipinos facing the summer heat. The NGCP explains that red alerts are issued when available power supply falls below consumer demand and the transmission grid's required reserve capacity. Yellow alerts, on the other hand, are issued when power reserves are not enough for emergencies or sudden plant outages.
Every year na lamang itong nangyayari. In 2024, nangyari ito in March. And then 2025, nangyari ito in April and in May. Ngayon nangyari last month at ngayong May. So, paulit-ulit na lamang ba ito?
The National Association of Electricity Consumers for Reforms, or NASECOR, urges governing agencies to address the apparent frequency of power interruptions during peak demand.
Dapat sila ang mag-set ng standards. Anong uri ng planta? Sabihin natin, ito ay coal. Dapat sila ang magtalaga ng standard that will establish the reliability of these plants.
Apa, on Wednesday night, Meralco reported that more than 920,000 customers in parts of Batangas, Bulacan, Cavite, Laguna, Metro Manila, and Rizal were affected by the rotating brownouts. It said that 270,000 services had later been restored. Meanwhile, Energy Secretary Sharon Garin has directed the NGCP to immediately resolve the transmission constraints. The agency also requested the transmission operator to provide details of the incidents, particularly the forced outages of several power plants in both the Luzon and Visayas grids. That's the latest from my end. Apa, back to you.
Thank you for that report, Ches Sulit. We're taking a quick break. Stay tuned to our rolling coverage on the Senate incident and the Duterte impeachment case. This is Business 360. Welcome back to Business 360. I'm Apa Ongpin. A House official says the articles of impeachment were being processed last night when the reported gunfire at the Senate occurred. Isaiah Mirafuentes of Abante is on the line for more details. Ano masasabi niyong pagbabago, Isaiah?
Yes, Apa, kinuwento sa ating House Secretary General Chelo Garapil na nasa loob pa sila ng Senado na maganap ang putukan kagabi. Aniya, na mga oras na mangyari ang tensyon ay pinoproseso pa nila ang articles of impeachment na kanilang isinumite sa Senado. Sa impormasyon na nakuha natin na pa, around 7:22 p.m. na may transmit sa Senado ang articles of impeachment. Mismong si Atty. Chelo Garapil, Secretary General ng Kamara ang nagsumite ng bulto-bultong dokumento kay Senate Secretary Mark Leandro Mendoza. Ibig sabihin, nangyari ito ilang minuto bago ang nangyaring tensyon na kung saan niya may nagpaputok ng baril. Pero gate ni Garapil, ang pinakamahalaga raw ay nagawa nila ang kanilang tungkulin sa kabila ng malalang tensyon. Sa pananaw naman ni Representative Laila de Lima, dapat na raw sumuko si Senator Bato de la Rosa. Ito raw ay para wala ng iba pang madamay. Sa personal na mensahe naman sa PNC, tinawag naman ito ni Manila 2nd District Congressman Roland Valeriano na isang political drama lang para protektahan si Senator Bato de la Rosa. Ang nangyari raw kagabi ay matuturing na mockery of justice kasi institusyon ng Senado ang dapat na protektahan, hindi si Senator Bato. Dagdag pa niya, hindi pwedeng makakuha ng Best Picture Award ang eksena kagabi dahil hindi raw magaling ang direktor. Samantala, ayon naman kay Representative Kiko Barasaga ng Cavite, nagpupuksaan raw ang Senado para mapatalsik Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano. Sa kanyang mensahe din sa atin, nagpapatok sa Senado sa panahong nasa loob pa ang majority senators. At ang plano raw ay patayin ang ilang mga senador para mapalitan ang Senate leadership. Apa.
Maraming salamat, Isaiah Mirafuentes reporting. Political capital may be at stake for Mindanao lawmakers who supported the impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte. Iloilo 3rd District Representative Lawrence Defensor admitted that some lawmakers considered their political survival before voting on the impeachment issue.
Hindi lang sa mga senador ang dilema na yan, Corina at Willard. Naging dilema din yan ng Kongreso. Nang bumoboto kami sa impeachment, kung taga Mindanao ka na congressman at bumoto ka ng yes sa impeachment, you are risking your political capital in Mindanao. Pwedeng-pwede kang matalo sa susunod na eleksyon. Dahil hindi natin maiwasan, napakalakas ng suporta dating Pangulong Duterte sa Mindanao. Kung senador ka, iisipin mo ding ang boto mo ng acquittal or conviction could affect the political landscape based on your calculator.
Authorities are still looking into the shooting incident that resulted in the arrest of an alleged NBI driver. Andrea Salve is on the phone for updates. What's the latest, Andrea?
Apa NBI Director Melvin Matibag confirmed that a driver connected to the bureau was taken into custody following the shooting incident at the Senate on Wednesday. Based on a report obtained by BNC, the Southern Police District identified the suspect as 44-year-old Mel Oragon. Authorities said the incident happened at around 7:50 Wednesday evening when Oragon allegedly fired multiple shots inside the Senate building using a still unidentified firearm. Members of the Senate Security Detachment quickly restrained the suspect and placed him under custody. The report further stated that a paraffin test was already administered on Oragon as investigators continue to establish the details and motive behind the incident. Early Thursday, a woman who claimed to be Oragon's wife, together with their lawyer, went to the Senate premises to check if the suspect was being held there, but they were not able to verify his location. The woman said she only found out about her husband's arrest after being informed by one of his co-workers. Meanwhile, the family's lawyer explained that their visit was intended to ensure that Oragon's rights were being protected following his arrest and detention. We also received information that the suspect is now under the custody of the Pasay City Police and has already spoken with his family and legal counsel. For its part, the Philippine National Police said the investigation into the incident is still underway. Apa.
Thank you. Andrea Salve reporting. In world news, President Donald Trump boasts of strong relations between the United States and China. Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping are holding talks to discuss trade, the Iran war, and U.S. arms sales to Taiwan.
So I really look very much forward to our discussion. It's a big discussion. There are those that say this is maybe the biggest summit ever. They can never remember anything like it. I can say in the United States, people aren't talking about anything else. But it's an honor to be with you. It's an honor to be your friend. And the relationship between China and the USA is going to be better than ever before. Thank you very much. Thank you.
The visit is Trump's first trip to China since 2017. The summit also aims to maintain a fragile trade truce between the world's two largest economies. Coming up, from the jewelry box to wealth strategy, are more Filipinos ready to invest in gold? Robby Afzelius of Cebuana, Lhuillier joins us next. This is Business 360. Welcome back to Business 360. I'm Apa Ongpin. It's a truth as old as money. When the economy is volatile, many turn to gold as safe haven assets. Is this now a trend in the Philippines, and how can more Filipinos make that investment? Joining us today is Robby Afzelius, who is Cebuana Lhuillier's strategy head for partnerships and retail business group. Welcome to Business 360, Robby.
Thank you, Apa, and thanks for having me here.
For generations, Filipinos are used to buying gold to wear and maybe sell when needed. Now you're suggesting they buy gold to keep. How do you make that shift?
All right. So I think Filipinos now have more options when it comes to gold. So before, that is a fact that when you talk about gold, it's all about jewelry, something that's passed down from generation to generation. But what you can see now in the market is gold now comes in different forms and in different channels. So you will see out in the market now gold coins, gold bars. You have digital versions of gold. You can buy fractionalized version of gold. You can buy it in a retail store. You can buy it online. You can buy it in a marketplace. So I think it's more available now and in different formats, which is why I think the Filipinos have also seen that gold can now be an investment in something that is not just wearable. And these different types of formats, being available in different types of channels, having that different types of utility has made this shift from something that's just wearable to something that is more of an investment.
I'd like to compare it to property, because the traditional form of investment for Filipinos with disposable income, or shall we say wealth, has been property, diba? And a good investment in property means, a property you buy 10 years later is worth double the value, not adjusted for inflation, but the absolute peso price. Usually, it can double in 10 years. Is gold as good an investment?
Yeah. So I think property should always be part of your investment portfolio. You are right. Property increases. It's increased a lot. The situation now is a little bit more different, but I guess when it comes to investment, the question is how fast can you liquidate?
Yes.
Right? And when it comes to gold, how has it grown first, right? So if you look at the value of gold from 2010 to now, it's actually grown by 400+%. And that's from 2010. The past 5 years, you've seen it grow for at least 200%. So can it outpace property investment? I guess depends on the period, depends on the situation affecting both. But I think what's key is diversification, right? So if you only had properties before as an investment, I think Filipinos now have more options. And gold is one of the options that's still quite new, but I think it has a place in your portfolio on top of property. Maybe it's even worth considering to maybe buy gold first because property is kind of high now, depends where you buy. So it's really about diversification and what is the role of this sort of investment is for you as an individual.
Yeah, well, the property market is not so great now, but the gold market's very good. There's never been a time, in fact, where it's hard to sell gold, no?
Yeah, that is true. I mean, there are a lot of factors. I mean, we do know we are in there are times of uncertainties now, right? So we know there is a war ongoing. But if you just look at that factor, price of gold went up, but at some point in the middle of the war, it actually went down because there are other economic factors that affects the price of gold, right? Yeah. So there is demand and supply. You see the different world banks buying gold. There's also the effect on the dollar. But one thing that you can clearly see is gold holds its value. It's a safe haven, and one thing that is guaranteed is it will still continue to increase over time.
Yeah. You're launching the Kalasag Gold Cast Bar in 50 and 100 gram formats. That's a serious product. What made you confident that the market was ready for this?
Yeah. So if you go back 2 years ago, Cebuana Lhuillier actually launched the first minted gold bar in the Philippines.
Okay.
Right? So we started out with 1 gram, 5 grams, and 10 grams. So we wanted to see if Filipinos are ready for gold. So the price points were really affordable, a way for you to get in. And what we noticed is there were a lot of customers who would buy multiple 10 grams.
Yeah.
Right? So, and that sent that signal that I think there is a room now for those serious investors who want something of a higher price point, which is why we launched the 50 grams and the 100 grams, which is priced at 650,000 to close to 1.3 million. So this is now a serious investment. It goes in the same level as buying stocks, bonds, and it's now something that you really need to think about in terms of where do you put your money, right? So do you put it in traditional types of investment or do you go with gold, right? And then, yes, gold is a little high now. When's the best time to buy gold anyway? The first answer to that is yesterday, and the next best time is today, right?
Yeah. What does demand for gold look like today, especially in this kind of economic environment?
Yeah. So I think if you look at the different world banks, they're still buying a lot of gold.
Yeah.
Right. We see in the market now that there are still a lot of people pawning gold. Gold sales have still been increasing. So we really see that there is a role for gold as an investment and for you to hold. So again, let's not forget that gold is scarce. It has a limited supply,
Yes,
right? So you should not miss out on that. It's just going to go up. It's a law of supply and demand. So it will go up. So again, the time to buy is now.
Yeah. Is this shift being driven mainly by wealthier investors, or are you finally getting middle-income Filipinos coming into this?
Yeah, so I think what's surprising is we have a growing middle population, right? A young middle population. So, and I think the awareness of investments over the past 5 years has been increasing. People have now learned how to save. You have digital banks offering high interest rates. Now, a lot of these platforms have made investments to bonds and other types of investments easier also online, even gold, right? And what we see is that Filipinos are now looking at what is safer, right? And gold is one of those safe bets because especially the surge of people buying gold in the past 2 years for us has been enormous. We started selling our gold bar at 5,200 per gram.
What year was that?
This was in 2024. Today, it is now 12,800 per gram. So those who bought from us 2 years ago have increased more than 100%, close to 150%. And this has outpaced all the other types of investments that you have. So I think it's not too late. This trend will still surely be there.
Why does 24 karat 999.9 gold matter? What should buyers understand, the technicalities, before they purchase investment grade gold?
All right. So, I mean, there are different types of gold, right? Especially when it comes to jewelry, you'll find 14K, 18K, 21K. You'll even find Japan gold, Italian gold, and all these things. But if you go for what is the most pure, let's not forget gold is gold, right? What you mine in a certain country and in another country, it's still gold, right? And the 24K 999, that is the most pure type of gold. Basically, all the other elements have been removed, and what you have there is really pure gold, which makes it the most attractive type of gold. We do offer 18K and 24K, but people tend to really want pure gold more than anything.
If someone buys a gold bar today, how should it fit into their broader financial plan? I mean, this is clearly a long-term play, right?
Yes.
This is not something that you buy for speculation that you're going to sell next week.
Yeah, I agree with that. So I think with any type of investment, you have to understand what type of investor are you, right? And what stage of your investment journey are you in? So I would think that gold bar, gold in general, is a long-term hold, right? So it's something that you buy today, you keep it for a long period of time, and enjoy the benefits later. However, we do have this product which we call a guaranteed buyback at 90%. So whatever price of the gold bar is today, we buy it at 90%. And we've seen investors, especially the ones who bought earlier on, are now selling their gold bar in our Cebuana branches. So, and that is a short-term play, right? So, and I think both have a role when it comes to investments, and it really depends on what's your play as an investor, right? Do you want something that's long-term? Do you want something that you kind of play the market like stocks? Or is it having a mix of both? And I think it's a strategy you need to determine for yourself. I personally am a long-term holder. But again, it really depends on your strategy.
5 to 10 years from now, do you see gold becoming a more mainstream part of how Filipinos build wealth?
I believe so. If you look at other countries as a benchmark, I mean, now we have more channels where you can buy gold. If you look at the US and even China, so let's start with the US, you can buy gold in supermarkets, right? So it's that accessible. In China, you can buy it almost anywhere. And I think this trend is slowly happening here. The fact that we introduced this product and it's now available in retail, it's now available online in marketplaces. This is just the beginning. There are more types of gold that is not yet available here. And I think when we see these different formats and being promoted, this will become more mainstream. We see it now. More and more people are buying and trying to get into it. They buy one piece, and then a month, 2 months after, they will buy a higher SKU. They tell their friends, and you see their friends buying as well. So I think more and more people will understand that gold will really have a long-term place for their investment portfolio.
Do you offer the service of keeping the gold for them?
Good question. We actually do. We launched a product called our Vault. It's a gold bar vault where we hold your gold. When you buy it, we offer it and we store it for you for a small fee, and you can withdraw it anytime. So, because this has been a very interesting question of our customers, like they say, we're scared to keep this much gold at home, right?
Yeah.
I have to buy a safe, or even if I have a safe, somebody can steal the safe. So yes, we do have that service. We just launched it this month, and it's something that you can also avail of once you buy the gold bar.
Okay, great. Finally, for someone who's never bought gold outside of a jewelry store, what is the smartest first step and the first mistake to avoid?
All right. I think the smartest first step is to understand the value of gold today. Check the trend. Where has it been, so that you know where it can be.
So where would you look? The London Mineral Exchange?
On our if you look at the global price, the difficult part there is it's usually dollar per ounce, right? So as a Filipino, you need to do a lot of computation to go to where we are, which is more peso per gram.
Yeah.
So I would suggest go to our website, cebuana.jewelry.com. We have a page there dedicated for gold bar. You can place the value of your gold bar there. There's a calculator that can show you what the price can potentially be given the trend in 3, 5, 10 years. You can even authenticate your gold, Cebuana gold bar there. So my suggestion is to do that first so that you know where you can be. And I think a rookie mistake is selling it right away.
Yeah.
So I think that is a big rookie mistake. Hold on to it first. Do not speculate and feel it out. Give it 6, 12 months. And I think you can make a decision if you should buy more or you should sell.
Okay. Thank you very much, Robby Afzelius, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Very interesting topic, yeah. How big is 100 grams? It's just like
100 grams would probably be...
More stories when we return. Business 360 will be right back. Welcome back to Business 360. I'm Apa Ongpin. Business and civic groups are calling on the Senate to convene the impeachment court without delay. Groups including the Makati Business Club, Finex, and the Management Association of the Philippines came out with a joint statement saying the Senate has a constitutional duty to try and decide the case against Vice President Sara Duterte. The groups noted that economic stability and investor confidence depend on strong institutions and the rule of law. They warned that when political interests overshadow these, institutional credibility suffers. But the groups stress that a proper trial is not a presumption of guilt. They say it also gives the Vice President a chance to answer the allegations, present her defense, and prove her innocence through due process. Federico Piki Lopez is staying on as president and CEO of Lopez Incorporated. The company's majority shareholders withdrew the resolution to remove him from the post. The group said the decision gives the family a chance to ease tensions and work toward a better outcome for the company and its investors. Apex Mining cashes in on stronger gold prices. Consolidated net income nearly doubled in the first quarter, up 94% to 2.82 billion pesos. During that period, gold averaged above $4,900 per ounce. Lufthansa Technik Philippines will continue operations at NAIA after signing a new lease deal. The agreement ends months of uncertainty over the future of its facility in Manila. The company operates the country's largest aircraft maintenance, repair, and overhaul facility. The possible exit of the company had raised concerns over thousands of job losses and NAIA's aviation services. The new deal comes despite higher lease costs under NAIA's private operator. The Makati Court has denied GMA Network's bid to block the SEC's term limit for independent directors. GMA wanted to stop the 9-year limit from being enforced as it sought to keep former Chief Justice Artemio Panganiban and former Finance Secretary Jaime Laya as independent directors. But the court said GMA failed to prove their exit would cause irreparable damage. Telco giant PLDT starts the year with steadier revenues. Growth service revenues in the first quarter increased by 3% to 54.9 billion pesos. Data and broadband made up most of service revenues. PLDT also says its digital banking arm, Maya, remained profitable. The Philippine Stock Exchange Index ends a 2-day losing streak, reclaiming the 6,000 level. Mining and oil led the gains. The industrial sector was the only laggard, ending flat with a weak bias. Most of the day's most active stocks moved higher. Bank of the Philippine Islands posted the strongest gain, leading all active shares. Asian markets are mixed as they look for signs of a U.S.-China trade reset. Chinese stocks have slipped in early trade, but the yuan hit a 3-year high against the dollar. Investors are watching whether the two sides can keep trade tensions contained and whether Washington will ease restrictions on chip exports. AI stocks powered Wall Street to new records as markets shrug off inflation concerns. The Nasdaq rose more than 1% after 6 of the Magnificent 7 megacaps traded higher. Tech remains resilient, lifting markets amid expectations that the U.S. Federal Reserve will keep policy tight for some time.
We have a pretty constructive outlook for the market for the rest of the year here. I think one of the things that gives us confidence is, even though technology stocks are doing well today, we've seen good performance out of materials and industrial sectors, and also really broadly across other areas of the market. So that broader kind of uptrend really gives us some added confidence that this isn't just a narrow sector that's carrying markets.
Kevin Warsh is now confirmed as the next chairman of the United States Federal Reserve. The U.S. Senate approved Warsh in a 54-45 vote. The 56-year-old lawyer and financier will succeed Jerome Powell, whose term ends Friday. Warsh takes over at a critical moment, with markets questioning whether the Fed can still cut rates this year or if inflation pressures could force a more hawkish path. And that's Business 360. We'll keep tracking the moves that matter across markets, policy, and the economy. I'm Apa Ongpin. Thank you for joining us. Keep it here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.